LMERico, man. I'm back with another video, and y'all see what's going on, man. We got Glo Gang versus OTF, the beef and O Block. So you already know what time it is, man. If you're brand new to the channel or you've been watching videos on the channel but not yet subscribed, hit that subscribe button now. Don't forget to tell your family and friends about the channel as well, and hopefully they become supporters of the channel. And make sure you guys smash that like button and comment on the video to help the video get recommended to a large audience of people, and hopefully bring in new supporters to the channel as well. And don't forget to turn on post notifications so you guys can get notified when I drop new videos on the channel. And be sure you don't miss out on new videos that I drop on the channel. Check out the channel every day before you go to bed or when you wake up in the morning. And also don't forget to go add and follow me on social media like y'all seen in my intro, man. Go turn my social media up. Other than that, y'all know what time it is. But before we even get started, man, I just want to say I'm not choosing any sides. I love both sides, music. I love the artists, man, and I hate to see these two beef, or if there really is beef, because of the simple fact we already know the history of how they came up together pretty much, and never looked back after that. But now there's just so much going on and stuff. They got real situations going on. So at the end of the day, I can't choose sides because I'm not a part of this shit for real. So at the end of the day, I'm on the outside looking in, and they got their own situations that deem that they gotta be into it with each other. So it is what it is. But at the end of the day, I don't know, like, I feel like Keef ain't really saying too much about this shit, and I feel like Durk ain't really saying too much shit about it. It's just the people that's pretty much on the other side, like behind them, pretty much is the ones that's really going at each other and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, I don't think we're gonna ever really see Keef or Durk really speak anything about what's going on, if there really is tension going on. Like, everybody else that's behind them probably is gonna do that. We already seen a couple people already talk about it and stuff, from Boss Top and stuff like that. I can't really say Tato or anybody just because I haven't really been paying too much attention to all of that. And I know they just recently had a little situation with Rolling Loud and stuff, but at the end of the day, man, we don't really know the facts for real unless somebody that's from both sides is really coming out speaking about this shit. But like I said, Boss Top, we already know why he's got problems with Glo Gang and all of them and stuff back from when all that shit went down, where he stole from Chief Keef's crib and stuff while he was gone. But at the outside of that, we don't really know the other reasons for why these guys would be beefing like that for real. So at the end of the day, I ain't choosing those sides, and that's just that. But other than that, I talked long enough. We're gonna go ahead and start the screen record. That started, and we starting the vid now.
The war in Chicago.
Also, I'm not gonna do too much pausing just because I don't want to make this video too long either. So other than that, let's continue on.
Chicago, between the BDs and the GDs, is well documented. But only real fans of Chicago drill know about the war in O Block that involves Chief Keef's Glo Gang and Lil Durk's OTF. Let's take a closer look at this beef. Chief Keef and Lil Durk are the two biggest rappers to emerge from the Chicago drill scene in the early 2010s. Even though they grew up together and were affiliated with some of the same people, the two are rarely seen together and haven't collaborated as much as you would expect. This is because
I definitely would say, man, if these guys didn't have stuff going on that was going on, man, they could definitely be a solid duo putting out shit together whenever they link up. Because when they was on tracks together, you already know it's gonna be an instant banger. Simple as that. But like I said, due to the unfortunate circumstances around their guys and stuff like that, possibly won't ever get another collab from these two ever again type shit. So it's crazy, man. But we definitely gonna be still saying, man, what could they have done if they did more shit together? It sucks, but hey.
around the time that they were both blowing up, they had a falling out after Durk was arrested and Keef refused to pay his bail. Both Chief Keef and Durk grew up around the same area on the south side. Keef grew up in the infamous O Block on the 6400 block of South King Drive. Durk grew up nearby in the Inglewood neighborhood and even spent some time living in Parkway Garden.
At that time, I know about that too. That was another situation that happened way back in the beginning, like he said. I would say from both sides, I could see why they did what they did. For Keef's stance, I would say he probably looked at it as, if I pay this bail and all that bread, who's to say they won't find a way to lock your ass right back up? Because that's another thing that people don't really talk about. Like, yeah, you can get released on bail, but as soon as you get released, you pretty much gotta watch your back. Like, you can't be doing nothing. You can't get in trouble with no type of pullover, arrest, or anything. You can't even be in a situation where police gotta question you and shit. Because if they find any way that you were involved in a situation as a suspect, you instantly going right back to jail, and the money that you just got released on bail was pretty much all for nothing, due to the simple fact now you gotta go right back to jail anyway. So I would say that's probably why Keef didn't do it. He probably felt like, if I bail you out, who's to say you won't probably get locked right back up? So it'll pretty much be like, I just paid a free donation for nothing to the police. Then on Durk's side, I can see why he was mad, because of the simple fact, you supposed to be my homie, plus you got all this bread and shit, so why you can't just go ahead and get me out of jail and shit? And we supposed to be rocking with each other for real. So, like I said, man, I can see both sides' point of view, and yeah, but at the end of the day, it is with that as well. It's just, y'all comment down below how y'all feel about that. Like, what would y'all do if y'all was in that situation on either side? But now let's continue on.
They're both affiliated with the 300 set of the Black Disciples, but Durk also has his own gang called OTF, or Only the Family, and Keef has his own called GBE, or Glory Boys Entertainment. They were all cool with each other early on and would collaborate on tracks together, but all that would change in the summer of 2013 when Lil Durk would get arrested on a gun charge. On June 5th, 2013, the Chicago police got an anonymous tip that there was a man with a loaded gun walking around the area. They showed up to the 7200 block of South Green Street in the South Side and found Lil Durk standing beside his car. When police approached him, they claimed that they saw him throw a loaded .40 caliber handgun into his Hyundai Sonata. Durk was then arrested and charged with unlawful use of a weapon by a felon. He had been caught with a gun once before in 2011 and sentenced to 3 months in jail, which was his first felony. So when Durk was arrested again, just 2 years later, the charges would be even worse, and Durk was held on a $100,000 bond. Even though Durk had just signed a deal with Def Jam, he was still early in his career. He would need $10,000 to be able to post the bond and didn't have the cash at the time. So he reached out to Keef for help, but for whatever reason, Keef didn't give him the money. Fans also noticed that while all the other notable BDs like Lil Reese, Fredo Santana, LA Capone, and Rondo No. 9 tweeted something in support of Lil Durk when he got arrested, Chief Keef stayed silent. Instead, Chief would tweet OTG, hashtag only the Glo. This was clearly a shot at Durk, as his label and rap group is known as OTF.
Tuition, room and board, and all those pricey textbooks. College is expensive, but your checking account shouldn't be.
Many took this to mean that Keef wasn't rocking with Durk because he wasn't GBE, and therefore he wasn't responsible for what happened to him. Durk eventually posted bail, but it would take over a month. It's rumored that Durk had a rough time in Cook County because of his affiliations and got beat up pretty badly, but he would eventually end up getting out in July 2013. After being released, Durk would tweet, "I'm back. Did you miss me or you ain't care? I'm free." These are lyrics to Keef's first day out freestyle, and many assume that he was taking a shot at the rapper for failing to pay his bail. Keef would just double down on his earlier stance and tweeted, OTG. This would get under Durk's skin as he let off a wild Twitter rant that exposed the beef to the entire world. First, he shouted out Lil Reese and Fredo Santana for being 100 and not hashtag foo-foo. Clearly, throwing more shade at Keef, who was Fredo's cousin and homies with Lil Reese, he also tells Keef directly that he would have been killed if it weren't for 300. It's not clear if he's talking about a particular situation or if he's just saying that Keef wouldn't have survived in the South Side without his boys, but he had beef with his former friend. He kept going, tweeting, "All the money, but you can't go get hashtag D-Rose. LOL, bad enough he on your ass already." D-Rose was one of O-Block's main shooters and was close to both Keef and Durk. Keef has mentioned him in several songs, and D-Rose was considered a legend in Chicago for the work he put in on the streets. But he got locked up in 2012 and didn't get out until 2014. So Durk was throwing shade at Keef for giving him props in the music, but then not helping him post bail. Especially because at that time, Keef was one of the biggest rappers in the world. He also followed up by tweeting, "If you squad, then why you ain't get T-Slick or D-Rose? You got a bigger deal, right? Hashtag foo-foo." T-Slick was another street legend in Chicago who grew up with Keef and Fredo. He was arrested for aggravated discharge of a firearm, and it's been rumored that he was either protecting Keef at the time or he took the charge so he wouldn't have to go to jail. To this day, Keef's profile picture on Twitter is T-Slick's mugshot, which proves that Keef clearly has some loyalty toward him. But according to Durk, Keef turned his back on both D-Rose and T-Slick after he got rich and famous, even though they had his back growing up. He also told Keef he couldn't return to his own neighborhood, tweeting, "Where are you gonna spend it? Because you can't come around here with it." Finally, Durk finishes his rant by saying, "Warning, I'm not #SoldierBoy. This shit can get ugly." If this were 2021, Soulja probably would have jumped into the middle of this beef for the free promotion. But 2013 was a different time, and Soulja probably...
I ain't gonna lie, he funny for that one. He lucky he just went in on Soulja, but at the end of the day, I can't knock Soulja Boy, man, because at the end of the day, he found a way to stay relevant from the crank that era to the drill era and shit. He's found a way to stay pretty much relevant and at the top. Like he's already got multiple songs that's already went viral off of social media and shit. So at the end of the day, if you can make shit go viral off social media, you pretty much is gonna generate a lot of popularity and clout, etc., and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, Soulja Boy know how to get his bag and market himself. So at the end of the day, you can't discredit him or none of that because of the simple fact he just find a way to stay relevant and at the top. But it is what it is. Even if people don't like him music-wise, you can't knock him for the way he market himself. He really smart and intelligent at that shit. But let's continue on.
But didn't want any more problems with rappers from Chicago. Early on in his career, Keef had ties to Soulja Boy. At one point, it was even rumored that Keef might sign to his SODMG label.
It is. Now, what's your future projects? What you got in store for the people?
Shit, sign with SODMG.
So you see, you signed with him?
Offensive.
Oh, that's what's happening, man.
But not long before the Lil Durk beef popped off, Keef and Soulja would have a falling out after Keef's homie Ball Out allegedly robbed Soulja of his prized Jesus piece. Keef responded to Durk's rant by tweeting, "Just bought a 2013 four-wheeler for $10,000. $10,000, of course, was the exact amount of Durk's bail. He would also tweet, "I'm nothing else, I am O-Block," and "Can't believe something for the twit. That's crazy. Know damn well I know you just like you know me. Goofy ass used to be Brick." What he meant is that Durk can't ban him from O-Block because it's his neighborhood, and that he can't believe the rapper is spazzing on Twitter when they both know what each other is capable of doing. King Von later shed more light on the drama between Keef and OTF. He explained that it started before Durk even got locked up. Keef refused to pay the bail for another dude from O-Block named Trey 5, who was allegedly Von's brother. They were trying to raise money for his bail, which was $25,000. They already had about $18,000, so all they needed was an extra $7,500. They called Sosa to see if he could help out, and he said he just spent $7,500 on shoes, so of course he could help. But when they called him again a week later, he kept telling them he had it, but never actually came through and bailed him out.
Supposed to go change for the live so you don't get some money from my homie Bond, right? Like say we call him, and we ask for money and shit, he say he gonna give it to him, right? So we say our homie booked the shit, his bond $25,000. We got $18,000, we need $75,000, right? So the said, he said, "Oh yeah, that's all y'all need, I just spent that shit on shoes, Right. Why you say it like that though? Now we call him again like a week later or something. Then what's up with that money, gang? Like, you know, we trying to get folks out.
Why?
Yeah, how much I need? We need $7,500 and shit. Now, this is a minute ago. So now you get that. Folks get that. What do you say? Yeah, $7,500. I just do that shit in the club and shit. So more see folks. I'm gonna take folks' chain off his neck and shit. I'm gonna take folks' shit. To go get the bomb money.
In May of 2013, GBE, OTF, and another set called Mubu, that's affiliated with rapper King Louie, had a joint concert. Some OTF affiliates decided to jump Keef for refusing to give up the $7,500 for Trey 5's bail, even though he recently signed a $6 million deal with Interscope. During the fight, Keef's homie Ball Out ended up getting his chain snatched, although the rumors are that it wasn't even his chain. It was the Jesus piece he snatched from Soulja Boy. Backstage, they cornered Durk because they believe he initiated the fight. Lil Reese even choked Lil Durk for getting Ball Out's chain snatched.
Nah, I been knew you was going on with Durk. I was right there when you choked Durk. Nigga, you telling me I don't know what's going on.
Hey man, I know you ain't ever seen me. I'm gonna get out with you. This my number. Whatever.
Then, Durk would get locked up for the gun charge about a week later. At this time, the beef between O-Block and OTF was still small, which is why he reached out to Keef to help pay his bail. But Keef was probably still mad that Durk's people tried to jump him, so he refused to pay the bond.
And that's another thing too right there. Like, it was just so much shit going on. Like, I could see why Keef felt the way he felt, and then on top of that, I could see why Durk felt the way he felt. But before Durk even went to jail, that whole situation happened and shit. So it's like, you a part of them. don't supposed to be yo guys pretty much at the end of the day. Y'all supposed to be OTF, whatever the case is, and yo niggas decided to come on stage and try to do what they did to me and my people. So it's like at the end of the day, you still rocking with them. So it's like kind of confusing, but at the end of the day, it's like who is you really loyal to? Like, is you really rocking with me, or are you gonna be rocking with them? Cause y'all obviously got the whole thing together, OTF and shit, and you see I got my own thing going on too with my people. So it's like, at the end of the day, you gotta down there choose your side. Like, but at the end of the day, it's just a sad situation, man, because both sides, they at one point were all cool and stuff and on the same side, but little shit was going on, and it pretty much was forcing people to down there pretty much pick their side. OTF and they guys chose to be on their side, and Glo Gang and whoever else a part of GBE also chose to be on their side and stuff. So that's just how it went. Durk, I probably felt like he tried to stay neutral, but at the end of the day, he was pretty much one of the top people a part of OTF. So at the end of the day, it was like, I can't really turn my back on him, because it ain't like I'm a smaller individual in the group and shit. I'm one of the main ones that's known for that shit. So it's like I can't do it. So it is what it is with that. So I would say it's just pretty much the people behind them is what caused Keef to be the way he was, and Durk after a while pretty much be the way he is and shit, and be on his side with OTF, and that was it. And they just left it at that. But the beefs and shit, because of the little situations going on, is what kept them into it with each other and stuff, even though they all was supposed to be under the same exact thing and shit and be cool. But like I said, man, once it come to money and popularity and all that shit just start to go south between people and stuff. But only the real is gonna really hold it down and not let none of that shit happen. But when you got so many people that's involved in this shit, it's gonna be hard for that to happen. That's why smaller groups probably work out better than it is if they bigger, because there's too many people to be trying to control and be like, all right, look, y'all already know me and dude over there cool and shit, so that mean the rest of y'all gotta try to be cool with each other as well, be cordial or something. But it's gonna be hard to do it just because everybody is their own man. So at the end of the day, it was only something bound to happen that was gonna fuck all that up, and that all that stuff happened, and that's ultimately what led to them being on opposite sides at the end of the day. So like I said, man, it's just a crazy situation, man. If these all guys would have stayed together, we can only imagine how much crazy they would have went with the music on collabs and shit. But it is what it is. Let's continue on.
But Durk probably felt like their relationship was stronger than that and started to question Keef's loyalty after he got the same treatment as Trey 5 and D Rose. After the Twitter fight, the beef died down for a while. Apparently, they spoke on the phone and came to an understanding. It still seemed like there was tension, but it wasn't going to resort to violence. But not long after supposedly squashing the beef, Lil Durk would post a track list to his upcoming album with...
And I will say this, after you fall out with people, y'all relationship probably won't go back to the same, even if y'all talk it out and come to a understanding and be cool or cordial, whatever the case is. But after certain shit happens, it's gonna be impossible for y'all to go back to 100% completely the way y'all was before every situation and shit like that. So at the end of the day, it was always gonna be some type of little thing going on just because of the stuff that happened. So I feel like that's probably too what ultimately led to what it is now. Like, they not really cool with each other on either side, so it is what it is. Even though, like I said, Keef and Durk ain't really gonna speak on it no more, but you can still say, like, yeah, they probably not gonna ever really want to work on shit together no more, just because of the simple fact of the shit that was going on behind the music. But other than that, we're gonna continue on.
With the caption, "My fave song off hashtag Sign to the Streets." The song that was highlighted was called OTF Chief Keef Diss. This diss reignited the beef on Twitter, and Durk and Sosa would continue going back and forth. Then, Keef would repost the cover to Chirac to LA, a Lil Durk diss track by The Game and Tyga. After that, Keef did a song with Tyga, who Durk was beefing with at the time. So Durk responded by doing a track with the Migos, who Keef and GBE were beefing with.
Don't settle for products that give you a sort of white smile. Try new crest whitening emulsions for 100...
Durk even brought the Migos to O Block to shoot a video, which was clearly meant to get at Keef. The beef would reach a climax after a couple of O Block goons allegedly broke into a house being rented by Keef and snatched his chain. In late March 2014, Sosa was set to appear in court for one of the legal situations he was facing. While he was in court, a crew of dudes from O Block, including Boss Top and OJ, as well as a few members of another BD set called THF, broke into a home that was being rented by Keef and his former manager. They ransacked the house and stole tons of valuables, including designer clothes and sneakers. Keef's former manager, Brandon Zerer, was in the home at the time and called 911. Keef would later call him a soft-ass on Twitter for calling the cops. Keef showed up while they were still home, which is when Boss Top allegedly snatched his signature Johnny Dang chain and OJ snatched a chain from GBE Capo. A shootout followed and a 33-year-old named Terrence Smith was non-fatally injured. Boss Top and the other BDs then stole Keef's car and fled the scene. Keef brought Terrence Smith to the hospital but refused to cooperate with police, so no arrests were made. A police document from the Gang Enforcement Division was released after the shooting and stated that the Black Disciples were having an internal conflict. The crazy thing is that before this all went down, Keef and Boss Top were close. Keef even gifted Boss Top a Burberry shirt that he was known to wear everywhere, so much that Mubu Krump would even put out a video clowning him for it.
Why every time we see you out here, you got this same Burberry
So to get the shirt, I never take the shirt off with Billy.
Why you even take the shirt off?
Billy shirt.
I ain't gonna lie, this shit was funny, but at the end of the day, man, like I said, that shit was crazy as fuck how all that happened, man. Like I said, man, you can only coexist for so long in big ass groups and shit, and then you got little shit like this going on that's gonna fuck everything up. And no matter the history behind y'all being cool for however long y'all was cool for, at the end of the day, certain shit you do is just gonna completely undo all of that shit and fuck everything up and make y'all pretty much enemies at the end of the day. So that shit was crazy for real. But let's continue on.
Just get the shirt, never take the shirt off Billy.
Also on BD, huh?
But money and fame can turn even the closest friends against each other, and it seems like Boss Top sided with Lil Durk for the war in O Block. That same day, Keef and Boss Top would go back and forth on Twitter, with Keef tweeting, "I clothed you, B, and put money in your limp ball pockets. And I ain't nothing like these, but we look alike. Way higher form and fashion, and I'm loyal. I was giving little dirty folks in them clothes." He also dropped a wild bombshell, tweeting, "Folks, they stole KK clothes out her room. Detergent, deodorant, and all on Bloods. They stretched that shit, alright." KK is Keef's daughter, and in this tweet, he's telling the world that they didn't just take adult designer clothes, they took his 3-year-old daughter's clothes and random household items like deodorant and detergent. Keef even called out Boss Top by name, along with his former producer, Young Chop. Boss Top responded by posting a picture of a gun on IG with the caption, "GBE," and told Keef to come to the hood that you say you from. He would also later release a music video where he can be seen flexing with Keef's stolen chain. Plus, not long after that, Durk would drop a video with another Chirac Savage, THF Bezu, dancing around with Capo's stolen chain, while Keef's Close That Door video plays in the background. Keef would respond to the video by saying, "I would say f*** OD, but I'm from there. That's my boy."
Who would say f*** OD, but that's my boy. You hear me? I'm from there. Yeah. O Block.
OD, of course, refers to OD Perry, the dead BD that O Block is named after. OD is allegedly Boss Top's cousin, but also a well-respected dude from the neighborhood, which is why Keef said he would say it, but it doesn't go as far as actually doing it. Several BDs from O Block had to check Keef for taking it too far, and Sosa didn't respond after that. But surprisingly, after that, things started to cool down. Keef finally left Chicago for good and moved to LA. He and Durk would continue throwing shots at each other for a few more months until they officially squashed the beef in August 2014. That month, Durk would tweet, "It's back. OTF x GBE. Chicago, we back at it. At Chief Keef, my brother. Hashtag 300. And Keef would confirm the truce, tweeting, "Hey, at Lil Durk, what you on, bro?" Durk later explained in an interview that they eventually talked for a few hours over FaceTime and they put it all behind them. Since then, there hasn't been too much drama between the two camps. Keef and Durk would collab on the track Decline in 2015 and haven't dissed each other again in music. So, this is one beef from the city of Chicago that actually has an ending. Even though Durk and Keef still don't seem to be that tight anymore, They seem to be able to do their own thing in the industry and stay out of each other's way. Luckily, the beef never got out of control, and they were both able to settle their differences and move on with their careers. If you thought this video was crazy, be sure to check out our channel for more. From Lil Reese shot in the eye to Chicago drill lyrics that really happened. We cover the most insane stories that you need to hear. Well, that's all for today. Please smash that like button if you enjoyed this video. Comment below what you want to see next.
Yeah, that's pretty much the end of the video. My last little minute thoughts, I would just say, man, we see Keef now the way he is. He's pretty much more mature, and he's kind of left a lot of that street shit alone with like dissing people or making it known that he beefing with people and shit like that. He ain't really been saying too much lately and shit, so he's pretty much got growth and more mature right now. And then Lil Durk, he's still finding his way. We know he recently just said he was gonna stop dissing the Dead and Ops and shit and songs and stuff, but people are saying that he currently still sneak dissing, etc., etc. So at the end of the day, I would say Durk is still finding his way. He pretty much just blew up for real, pretty much in the past 2 years on to now. So he's pretty much on his own path and stuff and grinding and going crazy with his career and stuff like that. And I will say, right now, yes, he does have the bigger career than Keef, but at the end of the day, people got a lot of respect for Keef because of the simple fact, if it wasn't for him blowing up the way he did, drill music wouldn't have been the way it is now type shit. And the artists that came out wouldn't have been out if it wasn't for him opening up the doors and stuff, making record labels say, all right, yeah, we got to sign these guys, even though they rapping really about the street shit that they got going on in their life and stuff behind the scenes and shit like that. And y'all already see what the drill scene is and what it's become and stuff like that. So it is what it is. But at the end of the day, we glad these guys didn't pretty much escalate the beef further than what it was, and a lot of people losing their life behind it and shit like that. So at the end of the day, we just glad that they not really beefing like that too much in the open like that or anything of that nature and stuff, and they just pretty much, like they said, finding ways to be mainstream without getting in each other's way and not stepping on each other's toes and stuff. But like I said, with the recent stuff at Rolling Loud and shit, it's still unclear like what's really going on between the two groups and stuff, and is it really true that they still into it for real? But other than that, that's pretty much my last thoughts and opinions on that. But if you enjoyed my reaction to this video, just make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you're brand new to the channel, don't forget to turn on post notifications so you get notified when I drop new videos on the channel. And to be sure you don't miss out on new uploads that I drop, check out the channel every day before you go to bed or when you wake up in the morning. And also don't forget to add and follow me on social media and help turn my social media up. Other than that, hopefully this video get recommended to a larger audience of people and hopefully bring new supporters to the channel as well. With all that being said, that's officially the end of the video, and I'm gonna catch y'all guys later on with more, so stay tuned. Peace.